In the relentless world of business, a silent code dictates success. Leadership is often equated with control, with volume, and with the aggressive assertion of authority. We are taught that the successful leader is the one who dominates the conversation, the one who leaves no room for doubt, the one who is the loudest voice in the boardroom. We believe that respect is generated by the size of the desk, the power of the title, and the sharpness of the command. But what if this entire model of leadership is a catastrophic illusion? What if the ability to truly lead, to inspire genuine loyalty, and to achieve consistent high performance in your team depends entirely on something you cannot fake, something you cannot buy, and something you cannot shout? What if your greatest strength is found in your quietest moments? This is a story about Mr. Donovan, a high-powered CEO whose authority was a carefully constructed deception, and bravado, the alpha horse who refused to be managed by noise. Mr. Donovan was the epitome of the modern successful executive. Sharp suit, a mind built for aggressive expansion, and a schedule relentless enough to break a weaker man. His company, Ascend Global, was known for its rapid growth and brutal, unforgiving efficiency. Donovan believed his personal success was a direct result of his temperament. If they don't fear you, they won't follow you, was his unshakable mantra. His executive office was a place of high tension. Employees spoke in hushed tones, meticulously avoided eye contact, and dared not bring him bad news. He saw himself as the undisputed alpha in the boardroom. However, beneath the surface of his polished success, Ascend Global was crumbling. Employee turnover was catastrophic, a revolving door of talent burning out under the pressure. Teams were paralyzed by fear, consistently making critical mistakes because they were terrified of asking clarifying questions. Donovan's external power, his shouting, his demanding energy, was relentlessly destroying the internal health of his most valuable asset, his people. He hired a consultant to fix the staff problem, refusing to believe that the problem was, in fact, him. The consultant, a quiet, observant woman named Alara, specialized in equine-assisted leadership, EAL. She did not take Donovan to a conference room. She took him to a secluded ranch, far from the city's noise and his golden tower. There, in a large, dusty, round pen, she introduced him to his new formidable team member, Bravado. Bravado was a colossal, imposing stallion, the true, silent alpha of his herd. He was powerful, intelligent, and, much like Donovan, naturally commanded respect. "Your goal, Mr. Donovan," Ilara explained, her voice calm against the wind, "is to get Bravado to follow you in this round pen, in a perfect circle, without a rope, without touching him, and, crucially, without raising your voice." Donovan scoffed, adjusting his expensive tie and laughing dismissively. "This is absurd, Ilara. I manage a $500 million company and control thousands of employees. I assure you I can manage one animal." Donovan entered the pen, radiating nervous energy and a deeply ingrained habit of demanding submission. He immediately tried his usual boardroom tactics. He shouted orders. He pointed aggressively with his finger. He stomped his feet, trying to project absolute dominance and impatience. Bravado's reaction was immediate and absolute. Nothing. The stallion either ignored Donovan completely, turning his back and walking to the far side of the pen, or reacted with aggressive, dismissive kicks into the dust, maintaining a safe distance. The harder, louder, and more frantic Donovan tried to assert control, the more control he demonstrably lost. He was chasing the horse in an endless, frustrating circle. "What is happening, Ilara?" Donovan yelled, his voice cracking with humiliation. "Why won't he obey? I am the leader here. I have the authority." Ilara spoke calmly from outside the pen, her voice a stark, stabilizing contrast to his frenzy. "Bravado is not ignoring you, Mr. Donovan. He is a pure, unclouded mirror. He is reflecting your current internal state and energy. Right now, your internal state is chaos, frustration, and a profound insecurity disguised as anger. You are shouting, but your energy is screaming, 'I am lost, and I need control.' The true alpha is always calm. Bravado sees you as a frantic, inconsistent, and therefore dangerous threat, not a leader." This was the first brutal lesson of the horsepower mindset. Leadership is not about the words you speak. It is about the internal, congruent energy you consistently carry. Donovan, humbled and sweating through his custom-tailored shirt, tried a new, calculated approach. He remembered the calm demeanor he saw in his most successful competitors. He forced himself to take a deep, deliberate breath, attempting to project calmness. But bravado wasn't fooled. The horse could smell the cortisol, the stress hormone, beneath the facade of his controlled breathing. Bravado knew his mind was still screaming about the market share and the staff turnover while his face was silent. The horse demanded truth. Ilara intervened again. You must be congruent. Your intention and your energy must align perfectly with your action. You must truly slow down, Mr. Donovan. Be present. Stop thinking about your next negotiation. Stop thinking about Ascend Global. Think only of the space between you and this horse. Decide where you want him to go and then, only then, commit your entire body to that decision. Donovan spent the remainder of the day in forced silence, simply walking near Bravado, observing him, slowing his own frantic pace until his heart rate finally began to drop. He began to learn the language of the horse, which is nonverbal, built on subtle shifts in posture, clarity of intent, and absolutely conserved energy. He learned to decide where he wanted the horse to go, setting the intention clearly and calmly in his mind first, before moving a single, deliberate muscle. When he finally moved, his intention, his energy, and his body language were perfectly and authentically aligned. He was no longer shouting desperate orders. He was projecting a quiet certainty. He began to embody presence and awareness, conserving his energy instead of wasting it on fear and frantic movement. Bravado felt the change instantly. The horse, built by nature to sense the slightest tremor of fear or inconsistency, recognized the profound shift in the human. He recognized the authentic alpha, the one who was stable, predictable, and clear. Slowly, tentatively, Bravado stopped keeping his aggressive distance. He began to follow Donovan, not out of fear, but out of genuine respect and trust. He began to follow the silent projection of the CEO's newfound clarity. Donovan walked out of that pen, not as the arrogant CEO of Ascend Global, but as a humbled student who had learned that true leadership is a reflection of self-mastery. He returned to his boardroom a profoundly changed man. He stopped dominating every meeting. He started listening, truly listening, observing the nonverbal cues of his team. He began to communicate with clarity and congruence. He stopped projecting fear and started projecting a quiet, unshakable certainty. He understood that when the leader is frantic, the team, the herd, will panic and scatter. When the leader is calm and clear, the team will relax, trust, and follow the direction with commitment. His transformation was revolutionary. Employee turnover plummeted as people felt safe to be imperfect and productive. Productivity skyrocketed, not because they feared him, but because they trusted him and his vision. Donovan had learned the ultimate lesson of the horsepower mindset. True authority is a quiet reflection of an ordered inner state. The loudest leaders are often the weakest because they are attempting to control the external world before they have controlled their internal self. Remember the story of Bravado. In life and business, your greatest challenges, your team, your investments, your relationships, are simply horses in the round pen, mirroring your internal chaos. Stop shouting orders at the world. Stop trying to control external events with a frantic internal energy. Slow down. Be present. Be congruent. The day you master your inner state, the day you become the quiet, decisive force in the pen, is the day the world, and every asset you manage, finally consents to follow your lead. If this story reminded you that true leadership starts with silence, please like this video. Share it with a manager or a colleague who needs to stop shouting and start listening. And subscribe to Horsepower Mindset for more powerful lessons on strategic wealth and leadership. Tell me in the comments, in which situation do you struggle most to maintain a quiet, authoritative energy?